Breaking news for all football fans. Borussia Dortmund have shattered all known Bundesliga transfer records. Their transfer window has just concluded with unprecedented levels of spending, sanctioned by their new director of football, Kirk Sheridan. We had exclusive access behind the scenes as we were following Mr. Sheridan, and we are left with two crucial questions. Firstly, has Sheridan actually improved Stuart Ward's team in the process? And secondly, can all of these signings truly conform to Sheridan's proposed Moneyball ethos? Join us for this special programme as we dive behind the scenes to find out. It's Tuesday, the 20th of August. I am about to join Borussia Dortmund's backroom team for an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at their transfer business. Stuart Ward, the club's new manager, has achieved a 100% winning ratio. Next up, they are about to play RB Leipzig. Kirk Sheridan's old club, Everton, have appointed Luis Enrique as their manager and have sacked English Premier League Manager of the Season, Anthony Clark. Last season's Manager of the Year is now solely Manager of England. So far this season, Dortmund have said goodbye to 10 first-team players, including staples of the first team, Vieira, Okafor and Kobel. Their spending so far is already up to £91 million. So Larinaga was a player we brought in before my arrival at Dortmund. Mukoko also. Asbjørnsen was the first player that I brought in, followed by Dusdag and Keats. We're continuing our outgoing business now as well, with Scholl moving to Gladbach. He is a good Bundesliga player, but he's probably not going to improve dramatically. So this takes our sales so far this season up to 166 million. It is now Wednesday, the 21st of August, and the next signing is about to walk through the door at Dortmund. I am delighted about this one. We are bringing Rijkaard home. Now, this is a player who Dortmund sold to Spurs a couple of years ago. He's not the best striker in the world, but a couple of good seasons and I expect us to make a profit on him again. The best bit is, he was a lot cheaper than it looks like on paper. We paid £25 million to bring him home from Spurs, and Dortmund got 40% of the profit on his next sale. So really, he cost us about £20 million. For a striker of his level, that is phenomenal business. I can't lie though, I am a little bit disappointed in the scouts. This is something I've noticed since I joined Dortmund. They scouted him as a 3.5-star player. He's actually come in as a 3-star quality current player. This piece of business took Dortmund to a quite remarkable £116 million spent so far this season, but at this stage the media were still only predicting a 5th placed finish. Yes, no doubt about it, we still have work to do. The 22nd of August saw a £41.5 million signing, the return for Kirk Sheridan of Kylian Ledoux. Ledoux was in fact one of Sheridan's key players at Everton before moving to Arsenal last season. He's been scouted as a 3.5-star player, but sadly he is not, and Sheridan is most displeased. I'm really not liking what I'm seeing here. I promised when I joined this club that I would work with the current director of football. I can't help but feel that he is undermining me. The fact that we're assuming too much of players' current ability is becoming a consistent problem. Sheridan was able to move on from this disappointment though with the £17.25 million signing of Idikel Cerner, another Everton favourite of his. Yes, so Idikel is a player that I know well. He is a backup quality goalkeeper, but good enough to step in right now. Certainly a higher calibre than the players we currently have available. So I'm assured that he can do a good job for the course of the season ahead. I asked Sheridan at this point how his main goalkeeper search was proceeding. Yeah, not great, I must be honest. We only have one player who's been put forward by the scouting team. I would like to see more, of course. The scouting team, however, is at capacity, so I've asked my chief scout to basically drop a lot of the current assignments and prioritise this above anything else. I want every single member of the team on this. We've got a job to do. We need a goalkeeper. The day before Dortmund's next match, their manager, Stuart Ward, was suggesting that he would go all out to get a result. We need to be proactive and seek an early advantage, he said. If we play the game on our terms, we'll win. Well, this is Dortmund's second league match of the season, and Leipzig, who are predicted to finish third in the league, were clear favourites. Kirk, following that match, may I ask, what was your main takeaway from today's performance? Oh, it's so hard to name just one after a performance like that. Of course, Paul Warner's hat-trick is a fantastic thing to behold, but 7 saves from Cerner on his debut, I think that's a fantastic showing from him. Lado starting, obviously, it's great to be working with him again. And Rijkoff scoring on his return to Borussia Dortmund, it's like a fairy tale, a dream come true. This result, I think, was a huge statement for us as a club. Dortmund are back, and we will be challenging at the top of the table this season. And then, on the 25th of August, some shock bids for some of Sheridan's squad threatened to derail the transfer window entirely. So we have had an offer in for Haast, but I am not going to accept it because it doesn't quite sit comfortably with the 9 rules of Moneyball that I've taught myself to follow over my career so far. Rule 9 is quite simple. If anyone offers more than a player's current market value, then yes, I just accept. It's a good way to ensure we always get a profit on our transfer business. This particular deal does not fulfill that criteria, therefore it's a simple no. Vlašković though, that's quite incredible. £18.5 million future fee. We're not turning that down. He's welcome to take the move to Lazio. So, with Vlašković on the way out, Sheridan sprang into action. Yes, the scouts have returned a great one here. So Bernal can play across the front line. He's performed at a high level for the last 2 seasons with Stuttgart. He's 25 years old. He's got room to develop, improve. We'll be able to make a profit on him in future. So this feels like a true, tried and tested Moneyball signing. If we can get him, we could probably let 1 or 2 of the older players in the squad move on as well and really double down on this youthful rebuild that we're committing to. The 26th of August, 1 week until transfer deadline day, we were in the room as Sheridan gathered his recruitment team to focus on their key priorities for the rest of the window. Right then, folks, we have 6 players currently attracting interest. Some of these might be moving on, obviously, so you do need to be prepared to give me some decent recommendations at the drop of a hat. We're prioritising 2 key positions, of course. Now, central defence, we've already got a bid in for Hatto, and Liverpool and Inter are in on that deal as well. But goalkeeper, this is a problem area. I need you to be serving me up those recommendations, and I need them now. A day later, the club still had £95 million of their transfer budget available and a remarkable £1.9 million a week of wage budget available to invest in new members of the squad. Sheridan felt he had 3 key areas of the squad to improve. Goalkeeper was an obvious weakness. However, he also felt that right wing and central defence were key areas for improvement. Yeah, we do have bids in for those problem positions. Hatto and Bernal potentially covering them. I just want to make sure that we're keeping our options open. And in terms of goal, Marco Feng from Liverpool, he's a player that we really admire, but it doesn't matter how hard we try, we cannot make Liverpool budge. They're demanding over £100 million. That value is just far too heavily inflated, and we're not in the business for that kind of signing. Who else would they look to bring in? Well, the following day, seeking more depth in attack, Sheridan spotted one of his classic Moneyball opportunities. Now, this is the kind of transfer business that I get out of bed for. I've just found that Stroikens has been transfer listed by Aston Villa. Now, he is consistent, he enjoys big matches, he is a natural right across the front line. He's going to be a fantastic fit for this squad. And because he's on the transfer list, we should be able to pick him up for about 46 million up front, with the rest paid on instalments once he achieves certain criteria. Now, this is a technique that I love to employ as director of football because there's a couple of tricks that you can employ here. Firstly, negotiate those clauses once the players join the club, sell them for cheaper, or even better, sell them on at a profit before they manage to achieve those clauses, and your quid's in. On the 29th of August, Dortmund were preparing for their final match before the international break, a home match against the mighty Bayern Munich. Bayern's performance this season had been nothing short of extraordinary. Their pitch tilt ahead of every other club in the division by a significant margin. This would no doubt prove to be a very strong test for Stuart Ward's fledgling team. And it wasn't long before Sheridan and Ward faced more potential disruption. Well, yes, our rivals are getting closer to the valuation that I'm looking for, but it's not yet to the level where I'm tempted to actually make a business happen. Our ethos is simple. If we receive an offer above market value, we'll sell. If we don't, we won't. But sadly, their search for a centre-back was continuing. Yes, that's correct. Hatto has chosen to sign for Liverpool. What can we do? He's decided that their squad is stronger than ours. At this point in time, he is probably correct to say that. But give it a couple of years, I'm confident that we will make the step up to the next level. I asked Sheridan where he was now turning his attention to for a central defender, which he felt was so key to the club's chances for the season ahead. Well, there are two who are coming out top of the recommendations every time, but we're facing similar problems to the goalkeeping position. They're both exceptional players, they're demonstrating an interest in joining us, but their clubs will only proceed if we offer above £100 million, and as you know, that's something I'm just not willing to entertain. It's just not the Moneyball way. Of course, one thing that makes the story of Kirk Sheridan such an exciting one to cover is that he is not just the director of football at Borussia Dortmund. He is also the director of football for the England national team, a unique position that no one has ever held before. It is an absolute pleasure to stand in front of you all today to name my very first England squad, Anthony Clark's very first England squad. He and I have an illustrious history, as you know, Premier League champions last year. Now we take on the challenge of taking England to World Cup glory. Max Aarons will be missing out. I felt we needed to test some younger players at right back. Harvey Elliott will also be missing out. But Ben McNamee is stepping into the team, hopefully to get his debut. Of course, that will be down to Anthony to decide. I felt he deserved his reward after a couple of brilliant years at Everton. And Joe Taylor and Matt Whittles will also be in line for their first caps. This was, of course, a much older squad than we are used to see from Sheridan. Well, yes, of course, a much older squad than usual, but you can't really apply those Moneyball principles at international level in the same way as a club. On the 31st of August, match day against Bayern Munich, Karim Adeyemi was unfit, but aside from that, Dortmund had a full squad to choose from. It was a very close match. We were unlucky to pick up injuries to a couple of key players. Hopefully they'll have recovered by the time we're all back from the international break. One solitary goal from Jamal Musiala decided things, so I can't complain about that. Thankfully, we only have to play Bayern Munich twice a year in the league. We've got one out of the way now, and a 1-0 defeat when we're still rebuilding this team. The fact that we went toe-to-toe, I think, is something we should be proud of. The 1st of September, and things were coming to a head. The transfer window would close in less than 48 hours. Sheridan has been hard at work. He has submitted an offer for Sam McNish, but he is still looking for a defender and a crucial goalkeeper. Later that same day, Banel passed his medical despite carrying a knock. He agreed his contract and he signed on the dotted line. And as deadline day arrived, the impasse on Haast was finally broken. Yes, that's correct. We've received an offer worth £32 million with further add-ons as well. It's fulfilled my Rule 9 criteria. It is now over to Fred Werner to make his decision. I asked Sheridan how much this would disrupt his plans. It doesn't. In no way. Any good moneyballer must be prepared to lose a squad member at any time. I'm confident we will have replacements ready to go. And what about those continuing defensive and goalkeeping problems? How would he tackle these? Well, we're still working on the goalkeeping position. I've made a decision about central defence though. There is a player who I've been monitoring since I was in the Championship with Everton. All those years ago, I let him slip through my fingers, and I don't want to be making that same mistake now. He's come to a point in his career where he is undervalued once again. Top quality defender, so it would be a club record signing? I believe so, yes. Who was this mysterious defender? Gerard Rogan. He's a Northern Irish international, and I can confirm we've just submitted an £89 million offer to activate his release clause. With Benel and Stroikens on the way, Bino Gittins was put up for sale. Perhaps a strange decision on paper, given his high performance levels, but of course a tactic that we have very much come to expect from Kirk Sheridan. Bino Gittins, over the age of 25, does not have the attributes that Sheridan looks for in a player, and a £38 million offer from Napoli was far too good for him to turn down. Following this development, McNish signed on the dotted line, and shockingly, Haast decided to stay. And then there was a breakthrough. I'm sorry, you have? Really? That's amazing news! Yes, I've just been told that we've discovered a goalkeeper who fits the bill. Finally! Luka Podlek, he's 25 years old, available for £20 million. And he played in the same division as Dortmund? Yes, he does. I asked Sheridan why had his scouts not flagged this up until now. Trust me, I'll be asking them the same question. The incoming business reached a peak with just 5 hours of the transfer window remaining. Stroikens in, Bino Gittins out, and Rogan seeking improved personal terms. There was a last-minute spanner thrown into the works as Vlaskovic turned down a loan move to Lazio. It's okay, I'm happy to take a lower fee in circumstances like this. The offer that we had on the table from Lazio was, to be honest, a little excessive. The lad is very unlikely to get into the team now due to the depth that we're bringing in, so it would be unfair to not let him move on and develop his career further. So really, the best offer on the table, we will allow to speak to him. Vlaskovic subsequently decided that Rangers was the best option available to him, but then disaster struck. Unfortunately, we've reached the point where we can't confirm our final 2 signings because we can't afford both deals. We've had to delay the purchase of Rogan until we've sorted this out, but the goalkeeper decision might be out of our hands. Mainz have not been able to sign a replacement, which was a condition of the deal that we agreed to. What would this mean? Probably Cerna's going to be getting a lot of game time between now and January. Rogan is the crucial one for us long term. I want to bring him in now. I'm happy that we've got a good quality backup goalkeeper to get us through until the January window. We'll deal with the goalkeeping situation then. In the final minutes of the transfer window, Rogan signed for Dortmund. This did, however, trigger some concern in German. Yeah, so he came to us, he was upset, he felt that we might be bringing in a player to play over the top of him to stymie his own development, but that is absolutely not the case. I've spoken to Stuart, he is a key prospect for us, this kid, and we don't want his development to be stunted by Rogan's arrival. He will get plenty of game time this season. The window slammed shut on an absolutely remarkable £395 million of spending. Sheridan had also presided over £176 million of outgoing transfers, and true to his word, every single one of those new signings had increased in value since joining Dortmund. It's fantastic. The media clearly seem to like the business that we've concluded here. They've put us up to 3rd favourites for the title, and I really do want to see us challenge. This might be a year too soon. We've got a huge squad turnover, so we need to let the boys settle and gel, but Rogan is recognised as one of the best players in the division already. Warner has been outstanding so far this season. I could, of course, not leave without asking one final, crucial question. How would the absence of a first-choice goalkeeper affect the team for the rest of the season? Yeah, that's a worry, I can't lie. I'm confident we'll score a lot of goals between now and January. We may also concede a fair few. Coming next in the director of Moneyball's Dortmund story, a challenging European adventure awaits our director of football as Dortmund have been drawn against Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, Barcelona and Monaco. We have Sheridan's first matches in charge as the director of English football, and the unfortunate realisation that the club's best player has a minimum fee release clause that no one had noticed.